Welcome back, everybody. It is Sunday. Hope that you are driving home from church or you're listening to this. Man, hope that our podcasts have been giving you good content, good things to chew on and think about. Before we start, please, we're asking that you would hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Go ahead and share this with a friend. Ask them to listen to it and then maybe talk to them about it, and y'all can game plan. I'm excited about this episode because we've been doing a lot of communicating about, okay, how do we disciple? How do we pour in? How do we invest into our disciples, which obviously is the point of the podcast, but we're doing a little bit of a shift or a turn and talking through how are we as the disciple makers supposed to be discipled by Jesus. Because if we're being honest, it can be really easy to start discipling somebody or multiple people and think, even subconsciously, I'm good, I've made it, man, I'm all about pouring out now, and really miss what God is maybe wanting to do in our lives.
Yeah.
And sometimes not even for the sake of the person we're discipling, but just for us in general. What do you think, Nathan?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Ready for a question?
Yes.
Okay. I got an apple seed.
Okay. I
planted
Apples
my
are cool.
apple seed.
Okay.
What type of tree am I gonna get?
An apple.
Why aren't I gonna get an orange tree?
Because you can only produce what has been planted and watered. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, if you are not letting Jesus disciple you, then why do you ever think that you're going to make a disciple that looks like Jesus?
Boom.
Bro, I don't want to make a disciple of me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want someone
That's
that
good.
looks like me, right?
Yeah, because Paul, you go ahead.
So
Sorry.
the most important thing for you discipling well is the fact that Jesus disciples you.
Yes.
Because even
so
if
good.
you do all of the processes and all of the strategies and everything right by the book and you make a great disciple, if it's a disciple of you and not a disciple of Jesus, then you've done the whole thing wrong.
Yeah, that's like, and I think, man, we're coming for people's throats today
Right?
already.
Let's go.
We're going for stepping on their toes. But I hope that this kind of can challenge and maybe potentially lovingly convict somebody that maybe not on purpose, but maybe you have put all of your efforts into discipling this person and all of your efforts into pouring out, and that's a good heart, or and you had good intentions. But Nathan is so right. We are not here, we should never try to make disciples of ourselves. What did Paul say? Follow me, but as I follow Christ.
Yeah.
Paul understood. He didn't want to make another Paul because Paul was broken. Paul was empty. Paul didn't have anything besides what God had made him into be.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when we do this thing long enough, and by thing I mean like do church ministry, right?
Yeah.
When we do it long enough, if we start to think that like I'm just having success because I'm good at this, and we start to think that like we're good or bad at ministry, when all along it's been Jesus working through us, and we start to do things by our own power without relying on Christ.
And we always talk about bearing fruit. We
Yeah.
always talk about multiplying ourselves. We always talk about we want to make disciples that make disciples. I love that you did the apple tree analogy.
Yeah.
John 15, I'm going to read it really quick. Jesus, man, he's talking to his disciples in this chapter because I think he knows what's going to be coming in the next future, whether that was months or a year, or however long it is from John 15 to when he ascended. But he's prepping them for something. He says, I am the vine, you are the branches. This is John 15 verses 5 through 8, if you want to look it up or highlight it or whatever. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. And this is what you're saying, Nathan. Apart from me, you can do nothing.
Yeah.
Now, we can do a lot of things, but we can't do anything that will actually bear fruit apart from him.
Yeah.
If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers, aka, what is the point? Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish and it will be done for you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this is a verse not just about salvation, but about discipleship. Of if we're going to make disciples, we have to be a disciple. And the way that Jesus points it out here, we can only be disciples by remaining in him.
Yeah.
And I think we have two goals of this podcast that we talked about of hopefully encouraging and challenging people that are making disciples. First, just because you are now making a disciple, that does not mean that you can't be mentored, you can't be discipled, and that you are done growing in the Lord.
Yeah.
And I think most people would be like, well, duh. But so many times we equate ministry success or even spiritual growth with us discipling somebody else, and that can get us into trouble.
Yeah, and I think that so often, like, even like head pastors who have done so much in their ministry can easily overlook the simple effectiveness of just sitting with Jesus every day and being honest and real about your life and what's going on and letting Jesus speak into that.
Yeah. So I just think that, man, if we're going to be the best disciple makers we can, then we're going to go into how do we do this? What does this look like practically?
Yeah.
But if we're going to be the best disciple makers we have to abide in him. I picture John, the beloved, like reclining on Jesus. Kind of a weird picture, but like he knew what it meant to abide, to recline, to be with Jesus. And I just want to say to whoever's listening to this, and man, if you're in that spot, if you're in that place, you got to go back and start letting Jesus speak into you, start letting Jesus disciple you, and start focusing on what he wants to do in your life, and understand that he wants to do things in your life not just so that you can give it to your disciple, but he wants to do things in your life for you.
Yeah.
Because he wants you to continue to be made into the likeness of Christ. Go from glory to glory.
Yeah, and I know this podcast isn't necessarily about like how do you have a devotional time, but one thing I will say is two quick things about abiding. And like John 15, abiding in Jesus. I think the first thing, like you're mentioning, is having a specific designated set apart time during your day that's devoted to setting your mind on Christ, either through the word, through worship, through prayer. And one thing I like to think that's helpful about this is almost like a tithe of your time.
Yes.
So like if your day is 24 hours, 10% of your day is what, like
2.4 hours.
2.4 hours. Let's take
How much
off.
time do we really spend that much time, or even
for real?
or even 2 hours?
Let's take off 8 hours for sleeping, even though I know you don't sleep 8 hours. You're looking at like 16 hours left in your day. Okay, even if you took off some time for like eating and whatever, let's say you devoted an hour a day to tithing that to Jesus, dude, that would be like radically transformative to your day.
Yes.
So I think that's part one. Part two is trying to integrate the presence of Christ into every aspect of your day. One thing I've heard, a way I've heard it is like someone cuts you off on the highway, and instead of getting angry and frustrated in that moment, you direct that to Jesus and you pray for that person.
Yeah.
I know it sounds like,
Or thank God that you have a car.
yeah,
Or whatever.
I know it sounds like almost silly, but it's really just like letting Jesus be the constant presence of discipling you and transforming you into Christ-likeness.
Yeah, I think our heart is, obviously we want to help disciple makers make more disciples that make disciples, but we have to, I guess, address, I don't want to call it problem, but this thing, this issue, whatever, that is so, I mean, I've been there. So I know that it's a real thing. I know that it's not, and we cannot pour out. And here's the truth. The more we abide, like what you're saying, Nathan, the better it is for our disciple.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any other reason to like start it, I think God will give you reasons as you start it. Like, man, this is so refreshing. Man, this is so awesome. Man, God's speaking to me. But if you have no other reason to start it, it will be better for your disciple, because then you're not pouring out from an empty tank. And guess what? Oh, I love what Nathan said. Eventually, when we have no Christ to pour out because we're not abiding in him, we're giving him us.
Yeah.
And we are broken. We are nothing. We are but dust. We have faults and flaws and all of these things that can actually hurt our disciple if we are not pouring Christ into them, and we're just pouring ourselves because we are so empty of him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So this is important. Now, if we try to get to this point of, okay, I get that it's important. Now, how do I let Jesus disciple me?
Yeah.
I think one way that's helpful to approach this and to think about it is, what are the things that you would go to a mentor about? Or if someone's discipling you, what are some things that you would talk to them about? For me, I mean, maybe it's not necessarily like a mentor, but maybe you have a person similar to this in your life. But for me, the person that I bring all of my problems and my junk to is my wife. Today, this morning, I tried to bring our car by the like a tire place, get the wheels aligned, fix the suspension. And essentially, I paid $100 and they barely fixed anything. And they gave me a piece of paper that says you have to pay like $900 more for us to actually fix the issue. I was frustrated, man. The first person that I call is my wife. I want to vent to her, and I want to get some direction about what do I do in this situation. And I think the problem for me in that moment is that I'm almost looking for my wife to fill this place of that Jesus should be filling, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great that my wife is there for me in that moment, but I think Jesus should be the first person that I'm going to with the difficulty and the problems of my life, and allowing him to shape both what I do and my feelings in that moment.
Yeah. I think that's so good. Many times we go to podcasts first.
Yeah.
We go to people first, and good people and good podcasts. We go to whatever, but we have to start going to Jesus first. And I think that's one of the biggest ways that we're discipled by him is, are you going to him first, or is he your second, third, fourth, fifth option when everything else really doesn't give you a solution?
Yeah.
For me, another way that we abide or be discipled by Jesus is we have to have moments where we are not doing ministry.
Yeah.
I think that's big. And I'm learning this actually currently right now. I've been learning it for probably about 1 to 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And truly, we can start thinking that our ministry to Jesus, not just taking the place of our relationship with him, but will means that we are growing spiritually.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
So in order for us to say, man, I'm actually being discipled by Jesus, we have to spend time with him and be with him and hear from him while not doing ministry, while not preparing for a sermon, while not praying for a kid, while not taking a phone call, while not going even to a football game. All of that's great, good, awesome. We need that. That is what discipleship is. But there has to be moments, not just yearly, not just monthly, but I would say weekly, where we are not doing ministry, and where our time with Jesus is not involving ministry. It's just involving Jesus. And maybe daily, that comes back to the daily pattern, but daily of I'm spending time with Jesus, not to get a sermon, not to get a word, not to whatever, but to be with Jesus for me. And I think that is one way we're like, okay, Jesus is discipling me.
Yeah, it's almost counterintuitive, but that's actually what's going to be best for the people in your ministry
Yeah.
is that you have intentional time where you step outside of that and let Jesus minister to you.
Yes.
You know, like if you're a pastor of a church, like it actually could be best for your congregation that you take a Sunday and you're not the one preaching.
Yeah.
That you're not the one leading worship that Sunday. Or maybe you even take like a whole month and do like a sabbatical or something to where you have a designated space that Christ is discipling and ministering to you rather than you just constantly pouring out.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that, man, those two things, I don't even know if you have a third one or anything like that, Nathan. But I think those two things, if we can understand, like, and like you said, this isn't really about like, how do I have a daily devotion time? How do I read my Bible? How do I pray? Like, we're really not getting into that. Nor, I don't know if we need to. If we do, message us, and then maybe we can help with that. But all I'm saying is, like, I think that we have to continue to be filled so that we can pour out.
Yeah.
And what that looks like is, man, who are you going to first? And is your time with him only when you're trying to do something in ministry or for that disciple or whatever it is? I don't know if you have thoughts.
I've gotten to the point recently where, like, no matter what I do in my day, if I feel like I was a failure at everything else, like I had a bad workout, I wasn't able to accomplish the stuff on my to-do list at work, I like had heard bad news from something, but I spent intentional time with Jesus, then my day was a success.
Wow.
And I had to let myself get to that point because I was just feeling like terrible about about a lot of my days recently. Like, oh, I'm not being successful, I'm not being productive. And I really had to get to the point of, you know what, the most important thing in my day is abiding in Jesus, and that is what will produce fruit everywhere else.
Yes. I think we put too much credit, I guess, like value on ourselves and not enough value on what Jesus can do through us in those encounters and what he can give to us so that we can give it to others.
Yeah.
And so, man, I just want to encourage one last time, make this a priority if you're listening. Keep being discipled by Jesus. Keep reading his word. Keep going to him in prayer. Keep seeking his face. Keep worshiping him personally, and take time away from the actual ministry, from the actual discipling, so that you can be discipled, so that you can be more effective as you make the disciples that you're making.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say is this is probably one of the simplest things that we'll say, but it's probably one of the most difficult and one of the most impactful things.
Yeah. And something just came to my mind, if I can. Discipleship's for the long haul.
Yeah.
And me and you have had conversations about burnout and all of these things. I think this is one of the ways we ensure of not getting burnt out of discipleship.
Yeah, I agree.
We hear a lot of times, oh man, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted. And what usually goes? Discipleship, because discipleship's hard. When we've talked about that in previous podcasts, it's hard, it's difficult, it's frustrating. But if we can have that time, man, it really allows us to be in this for the long haul. So just understand that it is simple. I know we haven't said a lot or whatever, but man, it's simple, yet it's difficult, but it will allow you to be more impactful.
Yeah, that's great.
So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that it challenges you. Go spend time with Jesus, like right now, if you haven't yet.
Yeah.
Wherever or whenever you're listening to this, man, we hope that you continue to grow, continue to be disciples, so that, man, your students or your people are able to do that as well.
Yeah. If you're still listening, you got an extra 5 minutes and you want to hear us play a fun game.
Yes, please stay on. You are driving home, or maybe you're in your driveway and you're about to get out of your car. Hold on just for a second. You're going to really enjoy this. You can play along with us. And this is the game. It's called Psalm or Song. And Nathan and I have picked, we each have picked 5 different things, Some of them are psalms, some of them are songs, and we're going to read them to each other. These are literally from the Bible or from song lyrics, and we're going to guess whether or not the one that we just was read to us a psalm or a song. So play along with us, and this is going to be fun. Do you want me to start or you?
I'll start. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The crashes are heaven for a sinner like me, but the arms of the ocean deliver me.
I'm gonna say a psalm.
No.
Oh, it's a song.
It's a song. I don't know a lot of these artists, but this is Florence and the Machine.
I have no idea.
The song is called Never Let Me Go.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart?
Dude, that's definitely a psalm.
It is. Ding,
Yep.
ding, ding. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay. All right. I ground them as fine dust in the wind. I swept them into the gutter like dirt.
I'm going to say a psalm.
Yeah, it is a psalm. It is a
Because,
psalm.
Gosh, yeah, a song saying that is like thinking Marilyn Manson or something like that.
Good
Okay, you
job.
ready?
Yeah.
Take me. No. I don't want that one yet. Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you. That's it.
Oh, that's a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a song?
Song, yeah.
Yeah, how did you know that?
I just heard that song before.
Who sang it?
Look at this. I don't know. I can't sing it. I have
Coldplay.
No idea. Oh, Coldplay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I used to
You're
listen to Coldplay
you're
in high
two
school.
for two. Okay.
You're 1 for 1. Ready? Oh, wait, no.
No,
Did I give you 2?
I'm 1 for 2, bro.
Oh, you're 1 for 2. Okay. Here's the next one. I was thrust into your arms at my birth. You have been my God from the moment I was born.
I feel like this is a trick one. Psalm.
It is a psalm.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. You fill my life with laughter, and somehow you make it better and ease my troubles.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to go song.
Song?
Song.
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh. Rod Stewart, bro.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't either.
All right,
but-
here's a good one. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you.
No, that is a song. What song is that? I know that song.
Oh, that's by Elvis. Can't help falling in love.
Okay, I got one. Take me to your heart, for it's there that I belong.
That's a good one. I'm gonna say Psalm.
Song.
Oh,
Elvis.
Okay.
Elvis.
Was that 5?
That was 4 for me. I got one
and
more.
4 for me, right?
Yeah, I've
See,
missed.
I got a couple
Have I
now.
missed 2? You've missed 1 now.
I got a couple. I'm trying to decide which one to go with.
You got one more, and I got one more.
Let's do this one. And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make.
That's a song. Tell me it is.
Yeah, it's a song.
Okay, if that was a psalm, I feel.
I wish I would have spent like a long time finding some good
Oh yeah.
psalms.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Because your love is better than life.
That's a good one too.
I know.
I'm gonna go song.
Psalm.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Tables have turned and you made a comeback.
Oh,
Good job.
How did you do? DM us at Disciple Me Now. Hope that you have had an amazingly fun time today with us on that last segment. And I hope that you really are challenged and hopefully encouraged to spend some time with Jesus and let him be the one that disciples you so that we are not making copies of ourselves, but we are making copies of Jesus. We're honored that you are listening or watching and sharing this. Please make sure you share it. Please like it. And please subscribe to it. We will see you next Sunday at 1 p.m. We can't wait.
Thanks, guys.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that was good.